Any way you could confirm a dislocated elbow for Darren Agu?
Yeah, that's what he did. He dislocated it. He'll be back. There was no further damage, so it's just a matter of letting the swelling go down and getting to the point where he's comfortable with it. Probably have to wear a brace, but there's no reason to think that he's counted out from anything that we'll do as a team. And it'll be a few days.
Has that given him problems in the past? I guess that's something that like can recur.
I don't think so. Now he's never had it braced up.
I got you.
So we'll go through all those precautions for him to make sure that he's healthy and moving in the right direction. And obviously, that's a painful injury, and you guys saw it. I mean, as a coach, my heart sinks in those moments. So there was a real sense of relief yesterday when we got the diagnosis, and I'm excited for him to. He's played a lot of football out here. He's proven himself to be a good player for us. Right now, his focus needs to be on getting healthy and getting himself ready to play.
If he missed a game or two, where would you shift parts around to fill that hole?
Well, they played Issa out, did some 5 technique yesterday, and he did a really nice job. We have some versatility there because if you look at Braden Baps has played out there, Nate Clifton's played out there. Obviously, when Christian James comes back, he's played out there. And so I don't. Obviously, we want to have everyone healthy. I mean, that's get through camp and have, for us especially as we're trying to find that breakthrough. But it would be next man up. We would shift those pieces around. We feel like we have a number of guys that could help plug that hole and move forward.
This is probably hard for you to answer because it happens so soon. But any gut of which one of them you get back first, whether it's Darren or Christian?
Probably Darren.
Okay.
I think Darren's is just about the swelling resolving and the pain reducing. And I think, look, I'm no expert. I'm just regurgitating what I hear, but all the tissue around that joint gets, damaged, and it just takes some time to work through that. And Christian will be back too. He's on track. It's just his is a little bit longer term.
It seems like you guys have been going live for a lot of periods today and yesterday. How is that potentially going to help, redshirt freshmen that you're going to need to step in and play right away?
Well, I think the more exposures we get a chance to evaluate, I also think, on both sides you see playmaking ability to break tackles, ability to tackle when fatigued. And obviously coming out of the scrimmage, what we saw was we had work on our perimeter to do. There was too much time and space out there for the offense. And some of that too, Robbie, is when you look at the film, you can have 9 guys that are rolling defensively and on offense, and you can have 2 that are out of position or letting fatigue get the better of them, and the play can break down. I think that happened a couple times today. What we're trying to do right now, what we are doing is we're pushing tempo and playing in important field zones after the duress of that time under tension, so that we're trying to test out our mental toughness, our communication systems, and our physical capacity to perform. Live is when you can do that, because when you're speed tag off on the perimeter, whether the tackle's made or missed, you don't actually get to pay for your mistakes. I think when you're live, you do. So that that's kind of the focus these last 2 days in our live work.
How do you like the progress of AJ Swanson for camp?
Well, he was 13 of 13 on Sunday, and that's getting the ball in play. I think that shows maturity. It shows awareness. So much of that position is about. It's not always making the big play or the highlight reel play. It's making the consistent play, the routine play. It's empowering the other 10 guys on the field. We feel like we have good skill in the backfield. We feel like we have good skill on the perimeter. So his maturity is not feeling like he's got to do everything, but he's the only one that can serve in his role. That means when it comes to defensive identification, reading the shell, getting us in a good play, he has to take ownership of that. I've seen growth and development in that respect. And I feel like he's done a nice job of facilitating performance in the offense. So I'm pleased so far. We got to keep pushing, but certainly I feel like the decision making's been there, and I think he's been smart with the football.
How do you guys feel about your progress? I know the game's August 26th. Do you think it's been a rush process, or do you feel like you guys are on a good track?
No, we started early. We don't feel rushed. To me, once you set the calendar, you know, our length of time preparing for game one is no different than if it was week one rather than week 0. The difference is you shorten your summer just a little bit. I think probably there's a charge there to build a little bit of training and capacity into practice. So like, you know, understanding missing a week of training in the summer puts the burden on us as coaches to get that capacity built through our practice time. But we're wired to do that in the way we train anyway. So I'm pleased. Obviously, I want to see Sunday a team that looks a little bit closer to game ready than I saw last Sunday. And it's good to see DeRicky and Mahoney back. It's good to start getting some of those injured guys back to kind of see what that full picture is going to look like, you know, when it comes to Hawaii.
How would you describe at this stage of the camp, a couple weeks out from the game, how would you describe the differences between year 1, year 2, year 3? How would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can make a comparison to year 1. I think it would just be unfair to everybody. That was just really challenging, and I don't say that to be disparaging. I mean, I love that team because, you know, they were an important part of our foundation. There was a lot of self-discovery going on that year, and it kept us from focusing on the performance on the field. I think last year we were spending a ton of time at camp on our culture and our identity, you know, and I think that showed up in the season. You know, I felt like some of our performances, especially early, lacked foundation, lacked identity, and this year we've been intentional about building all that stuff into the full year cycle. So team formation in the winter and spring. This is preparation cycle for us. Our focus right now is on the football, you know, and that's been something that honestly I've had fun with because it gives me a chance to teach, and I love to teach. You know, I feel like we're more detailed in our work. We have a better understanding of our systems. You know, again, I think we're probably a year ahead offensively in terms of that, just because, you know, they've had 3 years to kind of bake in this system. Defensively, I feel like we're making up ground now, and yeah, we're in good shape. You know, but we're definitely further along. That doesn't mean, you know, that we're guaranteed anything, right? We're going to have to earn it every time we come out. And I've said this before, but you know, on the 26th, there's going to be a hungry Hawaii team that shows up with a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to make sure, you know, we better show up with a chip on our shoulder and hungry for something too, because we cannot ever sit back and take anything for granted here. But I trust these guys in that, and again, there's nothing in the preparation that showed me they're anything but totally committed to the mission.
What was the process of Davion Walker moving to corner? Is that like permanent, or you know?
Well, I think anytime you make a move like that, first of all, I want to just take a little moment to honor Davion Walker's progress in our program. You know, a year ago, we had someone that was really just struggling to find footing, and I'm talking about off the field. He's really matured and grown up and become a guy that we can count on. And it was showing up in his performance on offense. That's what makes those decisions hard, because Davion's a good receiver, but you know, what we recognized in him are skills that could cross over, and we see the need to keep exploring there to say, how do we make sure we have the best 11 guys on both sides of the ball? And you know, where you see some young players ascending on offense, and you think, you know, what does that look like in terms of the group that you're taking on the field on Saturday? And Davion Walker has skills to play for us, and he's earned the right to have that opportunity based off the work he's put in, you know, both on and off the field. And so that was kind of the impetus for the decision. Obviously, anytime that you can strengthen your corner room, that's a really good thing. You know, that we've lived that, right? I mean, you know, in this day and age in football, eliminating time and space on the perimeter, and when you're not doing that, you're leaving yourself exposed to long days on defense. So obviously he's early in on his transition. I think he's had some success out here. I've been excited to watch him. I think he was happy that we allowed him to change his numbers, because I don't know that he wanted to play corner in 87. But you know, let's not put a limitation or a ceiling on what that could look like as he continues to grow. And last thing I'll say on it is the thing that's been most impressive to me about that transition is he hadn't flinched. that's a big deal for a young person to absorb. And what you've seen is his competitive personality show up. So, his first rep as a corner, I think the receiver fell down, the ball was incomplete. It was a one-on-one rep, and Davion steps over the receiver, looks down. I mean, there's just some edge there that to me is healthy, and what it tells me is he's got the right mindset. As coaches, we have to build in understanding why and how, keep allowing him to grow in his fundamental technical work, and he's got the physical tools to play that position. We'll see how long it takes him to get ready to help us.
Is Prince Colley out, or is that like a soft tissue thing? Is that short term or?
Yeah, he'll be back. It's short term. There's nothing long term there. He's been back around. Without commenting on the specifics of it, he's gonna be fine.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all coming out. Thanks.